Welcome to Rock Buzz. Today we will delve into the world of iconic bass guitars and celebrate the instruments that have shaped the low-end sound of rock and roll. Our countdown includes what we think are 11 of the most iconic bass guitars associated with legendary bassists. These instruments have left an indelible mark on the music world, both in terms of their unique designs and the incredible talent that wielded them. This list celebrates the iconic bass guitars associated with these bassists and their contributions to the music world. The choices are subjective and may vary based on personal preferences and opinions. So without further ado, let's dive into our list of unforgettable bass guitars and the stories behind them. Number 11. Dusty Hill's Furry Explorer. Dusty Hill, bassist for ZZ Top, wielded a unique and eccentric Furry Explorer bass that spun around during his performances. This eye-catching instrument became synonymous with Dusty's rock and blues-infused bass style. Created by Dean Zielinski, founder of Dean Guitars and the man behind Dean Zielinski Private Label Guitars, Dusty had called Dean and explained that he had some sheepskins he had purchased in Scotland, and he wanted him to put them on some guitars. The band have used several variations of the fur-themed guitar through the years. Number 10. Bootsy's Starbass. Bootsy Collins, known for his funk-driven bass playing, made a statement with his flashy Starbass. Its vibrant appearance matched Bootsy's energetic stage presence and added a visual element to his groovy bass lines. The bass was started as a napkin sketch by Bootsy and was later put together by a young guitar tech named Larry Pless. After the bass was delivered to Bootsy in 1976, he began playing it regularly until somebody stole it in Chicago. Fortunately, it was such a recognizable instrument that it was eventually returned. Over the years, many different versions of the space bass or star bass have been produced. In 1998, Bootsy commissioned New York luthier Manny Salvatore to build one that had much more prominent star-shaped body and headstock, more like the sketch that had initially been presented to Pless. Number 9. Michael Anthony's Jack Daniels headless bass. Michael Anthony, former bassist of Van Halen, gained recognition not only for his solid bass playing and vocals, but also for his distinctive Jack Daniels-themed headless bass. It became a symbol of his rock and roll persona. This bass was built by Jim O'Connor, and the final airbrushed graphics were done by Dan Lawrence of GMBU Guitars in Glendora, California. The Jack Daniels Company offered to assist with the graphics in exchange for Mike's entry into their Hall of Fame. Michael still owns the backup, and the original is on loan to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio. Number 8. Phil Lesh's Alembic. Phil Lesh of the Grateful Dead is renowned for his improvisational bass playing. His alembic basses, known as Mission Control, built with exceptional craftsmanship and innovative electronics, provided Phil with the tonal versatility needed for his exploratory style. This astounding custom alembic bass was played by Lesh on stage with the Grateful Dead from 1974 until 1979 and was hand-built at Alembic by luthier Rick Turner. This bass, used in conjunction with the Dead's Wall of Sound, had 10 push buttons that allowed Phil to select any one of 16 quad or 8 stereo arrangements of his speakers to project his sound. This enabled Phil to create what we like to call cement pounders. Number 7. Jack Bruce's Gibson EB3. Jack Bruce, the bassist of Cream, utilized the Gibson EB3 to deliver his dynamic and expressive bass lines. The deep, rich tone of the EB3 played a crucial role in shaping the sound of iconic Cream tracks. The bass that was bought brand new by Jack in 1967 and used with Cream as one of his main instruments. He also used this bass through the early 1970s with West, Bruce, and Lang. The EB3 was used on tour and in the studio, and on the recordings Sunshine of Your Love and White Room. Number 6. Chris Squire's Rickenbacker RM, 1999. Chris Squire of Yes made the Rickenbacker bass a prominent feature in his progressive rock sound. His customized Rickenbacker RM, with its distinct shape and driving, biting tone, stood out in the mix. This tone became an integral part of his signature sound. The bass was originally obtained by Squire when he worked at a guitar shop, Boozy and Hawkes, in England, who were the importers. Pete Quaife from the Kinks bought one, John Entwistle bought one, and Chris got the third one. Squire's Rickenbacker underwent several drastic changes over the years, the most radical coming when he rewired the single output with stereo outputs in the early 70s. His idea was that certain effects worked better with either the neck or bridge pickup, a concept copied by a few notable bassists over the years. Number 5. John Paul Jones Sunburst Fender Jazz. John Paul Jones of Led Zeppelin showcased the versatility of the Fender Jazz bass with his melodic playing style. The Sunburst Fender Jazz he used became synonymous with his powerful bass lines. Paul Jones bought the 1962 Fender Jazz bass that was his primary instrument in Led Zeppelin for $250 at Len Styles Music Shop in London, and used it on most of the sessions that he was in from 1962 to 1968. Jones continued to use the Fender Jazz bass through the recording of Zeppelin's Presence. Number 4. Jaco Pastorius' Fender Fretless Jazz Bass. Jaco Pastorius revolutionized the way bass could be played with his incredible technique and melodic approach. His customized jazz bass, known for its fretless neck and unique sound, solidified his status as a bass legend. Jaco Pastorius purchased the 1962 Fender Jazz Bass in the early 70s for $90. Because of its distinctive growl, he called the instrument the Bass of Doom. Urban legend has it that Jaco was the inventor of the fretless bass, as he removed the frets from his 1962 Fender Precision, filled the gaps with wood strips, and epoxied the fingerboard. The hard fingerboard produced a singing and lively tone that soon became his trademark. Number 3. Geddy Lee's Black Fender Jazz No. 1. Geddy Lee of Rush is renowned for his virtuosic bass playing, and his Black Fender Jazz is an iconic instrument in his arsenal. Its sleek design and bright tonal character perfectly complemented his intricate bass lines. Lee picked up the 1972 bass for $200 at a pawn shop in Kalamazoo, Michigan. The bass sat at Geddy's house, mainly unplayed for years. However, when the band was in the studio recording Moving Pictures, Lee was looking for a different sound for some of the songs. At that time, he was still playing almost exclusively his iconic Rickenbackers. So he went home and grabbed the Fender and played on such classics like Tom Sawyer and others. Geddy fell in love with the versatility of the tone and low-end punchiness of this bass and soon became his number 1. At number 2, John Entwistle's Thunderbird/Fenderbird. Entwistle may be known for playing a number of basses such as the P bass and Alembic, but he is often most associated with the Gibson Thunderbird or the Fenderbird. The Who used various Gibson Thunderbird basses from 1971 to about 1976. Entwistle's first bass was a non-reverse orange Thunderbird, and he also played at least 2 1964 Thunderbird basses, one of which was accidentally destroyed by Keith Moon at a concert in New York in 1971. Around the time of Quadrophenia, he had bodies made with the Thunderbird pickup and bridge and a fender neck, because the Thunderbird necks were too thin on top, thus creating the Fenderbird. Its thunderous tone and distinctive appearance make it a standout choice. Before we hit the number 1 spot, let's name at least one honorable mention. James Jamerson's Fender Precision Bass. James Jamerson's legendary Motown recordings were defined by his mastery of the Fender Precision Bass. His precise and melodic bass lines played a significant role in shaping the sound of countless Motown hits and influencing many bass players to come. Jamerson's first electric bass was a 1957 Precision, refinished in black, and a gold pickguard, which he nicknamed Black Beauty. That bass was a gift from his fellow bass player Horace Chili Ruth and was eventually stolen. And the number 1 most iconic basses, McCartney's Hofner violin bass, Paul McCartney's choice during the early Beatles years. This bass is known for its distinctive violin-like shape and warm, mellow tone. It played a significant role in shaping the sound of iconic Beatles songs. It's hard to imagine another instrument so closely associated with another player, such as Paul McCartney and his Hofner bass. There is, however, much confusion involved with the history of this bass, many myths, facts, and debates. From our research, McCartney owns several versions of this bass, but has played in public with at least 4 different ones. The original, however, is the one he purchased in Hamburg, Germany in 1961, and used until around 1969. Eventually, that ended up missing and has never been recovered. Can you imagine the original Beatle Hofner bass as heard on all those iconic recordings, is out there in someone's possession, that's almost incomprehensible. After all these years, Paul would obviously love to know what happened to it and hopefully receive it back. Nick Wass, media and marketing manager at HOFNER, wants to help him find it. The company has started a media campaign, #TraceTheBass, to try and locate and return the iconic bass to Paul McCartney. All these instruments have played an integral role in shaping the sonic landscape of their respective genres. Whether it's the thunderous lines of Jack Bruce's Gibson EB3 or the melodic brilliance of Jaco Pastorius's customized jazz bass, each bass guitar on this list carries with it a rich history and a unique musical legacy. We hope you've enjoyed this exploration into the world of iconic bass guitars. Don't forget to leave a comment below with your favorite bass guitar from our list, and be sure to subscribe to Rock Buzz for more. Until next time, thanks for watching.